What's up, everybody? My name's Travis. Thanks for joining tonight, the Forgiven Soldier podcast. Tonight, we're going to be talking about marriage.
Marriage.
Hope you enjoy.
Forgiven Soldier. So I got forced, not really forced, because I was going to talk about it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
But my wife, Sarah, was like, when are you going to talk about marriage? When are you going to talk about marriage?
She wants to...
I'm like, okay. So I
What?
sent the text out. I was like, we're going to talk about marriage. And
It's not your anniversary, though.
it's not.
And it's not even close to Valentine's Day.
No. But
Are we trying to make this the summer of love?
as anything in the marriage, you got to be intentional by what you do. I'm learning that right now.
Yep,
We're
so
doing
intentional
doing it-
listening. You're
yeah.
listening to her.
so devotional we're doing right now is called intentional marriage. So I'm just trying to be intentional, and I can talk about marriage any day of the week.
Yeah, and you do as you're told.
Doesn't have to be Valentine's.
Oh.
Doesn't have to be anniversary, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I'm being intentional for you. But anyways, Forgiven Soldier podcast. Bunch of guys getting around talking about topics that men don't want to talk about. Just showing how comfortable it is to talk about it, being vulnerable, being open. My name's Brian.
Travis.
P. Shizzle.
New nickname. Was you here for that? When he came up with his new nickname?
No, I don't think so.
I think he felt bad because we had, Zoom and Bongo.
Yeah.
And he had brother.
Yeah.
So,
P. Shizzle.
so now it's
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Hey, you can call me Willie P on Tuesdays.
Willie P during the week.
Bongo. What a
Tuesdays.
great nickname you have, man.
I didn't mind it. I
Yeah.
didn't mind it at all.
He didn't. There's
And,
a key statement there. He
Shout
didn't.
out to Sean Owens. He probably don't even remember.
Sean
him
gave
giving
you
it.
that name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't remember even giving it to me.
Yeah, but you got it.
You want to hear the story? Can we talk about the story?
Does it have anything to do with marriage? No.
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 Not at all.
How'd you get the name Bongo?
When I was younger, I partaked in
In Bongo.
in some
Papa's
marijuana.
Reefus.
Okay. Me
Sticky
and
icky.
somebody else with the initials DZ
You partook.
Yep.
partook
The sticky icky.
with the initials DZ.
Yeah.
We used to hang out.
Yeah.
Y'all know who I'm talking about?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Do you know?
Discovery Zone?
Yeah.
DC? Discovery.
A lot of discovery going on.
Yeah.
So we were hanging out and came to Hancock Park, came home, and we were playing basketball. Me, him, Sean Owens, there's a couple other people, the older kids were
Part
out
your
there.
dealers.
So I was bouncing around the court. I was acting goofy. I was just throwing up stuff or whatever. And Sean Owens looks at me and he's like, "Man, you're bouncing around like a little bongo, man." And Johnson always hung out at Daniel White's
Jared
house.
Johnson.
Jared Johnson.
Jack
He's like,
White.
bongo.
Yeah. That's how
And,
that would be him.
It just stuck, man.
Yeah.
I guess enough people were out there that they just all call me bongo, and then it spread like a wildfire.
I sure did. Yeah.
And it's still here to this day. But that's the story of bongo.
But you're not a pothead anymore.
I'm not. I haven't done that since Hancock County, actually. Since I left Hancock County, which was a
Definitely.
long time ago. But then I joined the military. My drill sergeant called me Cooter because I was from Kentucky, and he
Okay.
thought I was a mechanic, and I just wore overalls all the time.
Cooter.
Yeah.
So, and it was a basic training thing. It didn't stick very
My
long.
aunt and uncle had a cat named Cooter.
Nice.
Not from Kentucky.
But then I went to California, and nobody knew me but as Bongo. They just called me Brian and then Basham. And then I came back, and Aaron Brown, first time he saw me, he's like, Bongo!
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I hadn't heard
So
that
there
in a
were some
while.
other Bashams in the neighborhood there. Were you related to any of those?
No.
I didn't.
You're
think
talking
so.
about at the end of Mockingbird, right?
Yeah.
Right by,
Live next door to Jessica
Yeah.
Basham.
yeah, I remember seeing the Basham on the mailbox. And
Yeah.
I was like, I need to meet them. I
Yeah.
think we talked about it in a podcast.
Are you my dad?
Yeah. It's like, are you my relative? But I think it was an older
There,
lady.
it's funny because there are lots of Bashams in Hancock County.
Loads.
There is. Justin Basham.
Yeah.
I think that's one side. The other side's in Brett County, and
Yeah.
that's who I'm related to. All
Okay.
the Brackany, but I guess it is about marriage, taking the last name, which my wife hasn't. So
She has not taken
let's
your
talk
last
about
name?
that. Let's be vulnerable about that.
She has not taken your last name?
She hasn't. No, she kept her name. Her Warzy is her last name.
I like that.
Exactly. But
I
her
like
dad.
that.
So the whole story is we met in 05. I I got stationed out in California to be a recruiter for the Army. And I was there probably a month. Went to a karaoke joint, the brewery, Six River Brewery in McKinleyville. And a country town, bud.
Mm-hmm.
Hunters, fishers, they were country. And I was like,
Mudders.
this is home.
Country
Yeah.
is mud.
This is home. And so I went up there and I was singing karaoke. And I get up and sing. And when I first got there, I noticed her across the way. I'm like, oh, that girl looked good. But I didn't have the nerve to get up and talk because she was with like 6 other people, 6 other of her friends. And I'm like, there's no way I'm just going to walk up there and say, hey, how you doing? I wasn't brave enough yet. So I got up there and sang. I was
So
like,
you sang to her.
I'll get her with my voice. So I picked all my go-tos, right?
Yeah.
The ones I knew that I could sing good. And one of the songs I sung was Billy Joel, Piano Man.
That's
And,
a good song.
Great song. I love singing it. Yep, that's it. And so anyways, I was singing to her and I'd like look down at her, and she wasn't looking at me, playing coy. And so when I get done, I'd go outside and I'd smoke cigarettes at the time. So I'd smoke a cigarette and then I'd come back in. Well, I never got to see her sing, right? So she was always after me, and so I never got to see her sing. So anyways, I sung a couple more songs. I went outside, and a couple of her friends came outside and said, hey, what's your name? All this stuff, and blah, blah, blah. And said, we're having a party. You should come out to the party. And I was like, I was into Sarah, so I wasn't into anybody else. So I was like, yeah. And I took their number down, and I left. So fast forward 2 months, and went to another karaoke bar, and I was having a tough day. And I drank at the time. So I was taking shots of tequila.
Oh.
Yes. So I got really right. And I remember I was wearing a Kentucky shirt. It had the state of Kentucky, right? And then it said Kentucky. Not a Wildcat shirt, so don't get no ideas. So I remember walking to the bathroom, and she stopped me. She's like, are you from Kentucky? And I looked down, like, yeah, I am. And she's like, you were at the brewery? And then I recognized her. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're the girl, like, in my head. Anyways, this is going to be a long story. I'm going to make it quick. So anyways, I was singing again or whatever. And then I was there with another dude from the Air Force. He was a recruiter. So I went up to Sarah and I'm like, hey, do you want to dance? She said yes. I was like, great. I got a guy right here who's about to go to Japan. You should dance with him. So I was trying to hook her up with the guy I was with. And she's like, no, thank you. I'm not interested. But I was pretty gone. And I remember handing her my card and said, do you want to join the Army? That's how lame I was. I was like, do you want to join the Army? And she's like, no. I'm like, perfect. Why don't you give me a call sometime? That was my pickup line.
Hey, that's pretty good.
It didn't work. So, anyways, fast forwarded a week and went up to Blue Lake Casino for karaoke. I was a big karaoke guy.
I'm catching on to that.
Yeah. I'm not no more. Not so much more. So I went up to Blue Lake, and I was sitting there with these older ladies, the karaoke moms, at every karaoke like me. So I sat down at the table, and I was talking to them, and in walked Sarah. And I'm like, oh.
Wow.
But I wasn't drinking at this point. And I was like, man, that's her right there. So she was at the bar.
Marty, that her right there.
She was at the bar. I was getting a beer, and I walked up to her. I introduced myself. And again,
As Cooter, Bongo, or Brian?
Brian.
Okay.
And this is another pickup line.
Oh, boy.
I said, are you drinking? She's like, no. So I took out my keys and I handed them to her. And I was like, will you drive me home tonight? She said yes.
That worked.
That worked. So anyways, we're sitting there. We're talking now. We're getting to know each other. And she gets up and sings. I heard her voice. I'm like, I'm going to marry this woman. And from then on, we've been together ever since. Ups, downs, sideways, everywhere.
Yeah.
But we've been together ever since, and it's kind of cool. I like the story.
It is a great
I
story.
think
It's a
everybody
good
likes the story.
Yeah.
So Travis, how'd you meet Kristen?
Okay, so I met her in Lexington. We were both students at UK, and she's from Owensboro. I'm from Lewisport. We didn't know each other, but when you go to college, you know, anybody from the same general area, you have mutual friends and you hang out. So we were at a friend's apartment called the Commons in Lexington, and she was there. I was attracted to her, thought she was cute, liked the way she carried herself, all that, you know. And this is what I did. I walked up and I said, "Do you have watermelon lotion on your hands? Is that watermelon lotion?" She's like, "Huh, what?" She went to sniff her hand, and I did the old grade school. I
No,
hit her
you
hand.
didn't. Gosh.
And,
That is awesome.
Wow.
That was just the icebreaker. That was my little way of,
guarantee it.
I want to talk to her. How do I do it? Let me go back to 5th grade here and come up with a little way. So she laughed. She thought it was funny. And we started talking, and things have worked out since then. But, yeah, that's how I first talked to her was, what is on your hands? Is that watermelon?
So how many times did you just see her that one time? And
Yeah,
went
pretty
for it?
much. You know, we
I
had
mean,
the
it
same.
took me a couple times.
We had the same group of mutual friends there, but that was the first time I remember seeing her, you know, and I wanted to talk to her, and that's how I did it.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, Zoom.
and
Speeding
she,
in there.
you know, that could have gone bad or good, but she,
Yeah, I think, honestly, if a girl walked up and did that and I hit me in my face, I'd probably walk away from her.
yeah, you know, I took,
But, I mean,
took a risk there.
It took some nerves, so that's probably what she liked. She liked
But,
the confidence.
Have you ever bought her watermelon lotion? Just
No,
a
I don't.
reminder of that.
I wonder if there is a,
I'm sure there is.
Oh, there is. Bath and Body Works.
yeah, watermelon.
You have
yeah.
to do that.
So, I still use that trick
Ooh,
on my
does she
kids
watch?
and
Does
stuff.
she watch the podcast?
Yeah,
She listens to it.
yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe you should do it as like your anniversary gift or something.
yeah. We can do that.
You do it to the girls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kristen just shakes her head like.
That's funny.
Mm-mm.
But no, that you get around certain people and you just in life that have a similar, you make eye contact with certain people. You're just
Yeah.
on the same wavelength,
For
and it was
sure.
just that way with me and her. I think our personalities jive well together. We get along, and it's kind of like. You can just feel it with certain people, you
Yeah,
know.
for
And
sure.
with her, I just felt that connection, and it's worked out, man. We get along really good.
Awesome. Willie P.
That's on Tuesdays.
Oh,
P Shizzle.
P
today.
Sizzle.
Yeah.
We'll edit it out.
That's okay. You can keep it in there. It's
So
good.
how'd you meet Cammy, or how did
I
you
met
get
my
lucky?
wife on MySpace.
Hey,
MySpace. That's a
.com.
blast from the past.
Yes, it is.
That's so
She
good.
messaged me.
she messaged you.
Yeah, she did. She
Okay.
pursued me, and I don't blame her at all. I was probably at the peak of my life as in career and success. I was living with my brother and his wife. They were newlyweds. And I'm sitting there on their computer looking at my MySpace account, and up pops this message from this blonde-headed girl.
You sure
that
it was yours or was it Kirk's?
well, that might have been his too.
Aren't
So
our wives related?
yeah, they're cousins.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
so. Did you know that?
I
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah, they're cousins.
Heard
So
it first
she
here, boys.
she messaged me, and then I didn't think it was real because it was just like, "Hey, how are you?" And I was like, "This is one of those mail order Russian bride things, It's probably spam. They're gonna hack into my account and change my profile song of Pearl Jam at the time to like Celine Dion and screw me over." But so I just like that's worth a shot. So I wrote, I messaged her back, and
So
I'm
you
like,
had no clue who she was.
no clue.
Okay.
No clue. And I messaged her back, and I said, "I'm doing pretty good. I don't know you from Adam. Entertain me here, And she said, "Yes, you do. We have the same friends and blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "You must be thinking of my brother, Kirk." And she goes, "No, I know which one you are." I'm like, "Well, I don't know you." And she said, "We've met before, and I promise you. Like, the first time I met her was on MySpace. That was, like, she'll tell you differently." So we talked, honestly. Like, so we've messaged each other back and forth. And then I finally was like, "Hey, here's my number. Why don't we just talk to each other on the phone? That'd be cool, wouldn't it?" And so we did that. And it was a whole sappy.
That'd be cool,
Yeah.
wouldn't it?
Yeah. So it's kind of like those sappy love story things, like, "Oh man, we talked on the phone until the sun come up." We did, literally.
Yeah.
And it was talk, and she probably misses those days because, like now I'm just like yeah. She's like, I just want to talk to you. I'm like, we're talking. But fast forward to the point. I remember when I first actually got to see her and meet her. She was headed into work.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
So when she pursued you on MySpace,
Yep.
and you gave her your cell phone number, y'all
Yep.
just talked. Y'all didn't even see each other.
Right, for like a month. I kept every one of our I got a binder full of our the messages that we wrote because I wanted to save all that.
Yeah.
You're such a romantic.
I know, dude. I know I am.
And I hate you for it because my wife sees it.
Yeah, so I kept it all, and then, of course, we talked on the phone for a while, and then finally I was like, hey, I'd like to meet you. She's like, I'd like to meet you too, and whatever. And I met her at,
Probably said, finally.
I was going to go get some boots at Shoe Stop over by B-Dubs when it was there. And here she come, and she was walking, I'm like, what the heck, man? I was so nervous, man. I was like really nervous, and I don't know why.
What was she wearing?
She was wearing her scrubs. She was going into work. She was a phlebotomist at the hospital. And that was our first meeting, but literally our first date, which is something that you guys are going to have to answer to also. I want to say, what was your first date like? Do you remember that? Because I remember mine. I took her driving around everywhere. So the next day we actually got together, after meeting her for the first time, and gave her a hug. It's really nice to meet you. And I was all gushy and stuff. And but the first date, really getting to see her in person, really getting to talk to her and being around her and seeing if does she fart in public, does, all those things,
Does she?
I've never, she's accidentally chuckled one time and went, but I've never she's a very, she's a lady, man. And I'm like, I'm not used to that because my mom, she's relentless, dude. She'll hike a leg up. It's like, it's awful. Yeah. So we go on our first date, and I'm driving her around all these places like it's cool. Hey, this is where I grew up at. This is this. I gave her my whole life history, within a few hours, and I'm like, okay, she's held on this long. I mean, it might be worth it. So I was like, I'm gonna take her to the bar. She was underage, literally. I mean, I just I know, shame is what it was. So the Moon Crickets were playing at the Hill.
Hey, shout out.
Yep. And literally, our first date was it was ended by a bar brawl.
At a Moon Cricket show?
At a Moon Cricket show that I had shut down. They walked off the stage and said, if you're kicking him out, we're leaving too. It was essentially...
you got kicked out.
I got kicked out because this guy, as soon as I walked in, it was instantly, Paul, help, whatever. And so I go over and I see one of the band members, their wife was pregnant at the time, and this character in the bar decided he was going to push her down or something. And that chat behind in, whatever. And so I went and talked to him, and I asked him, I said, if it was an accident, you could have just basically helped her up and apologized to her. I said, she's pregnant, dude. She is prego. And he's like, I'm like, just then keep your distance. Just keep your distance. I said, so he kept looking at me. And,
the brawl was you.
The brawl was me. And he kept looking at me, giving me these random, just eyeballs and whatever. And I'm sitting there trying to play cool around Cammy, but I'm fuming inside. And I'm like, man, I'm about to mess the cat up. And so intermission happens. And I walk up to the bar and order a drink beside lady's husband. Okay, and he was talking. He's like, which guy was it? And I was like, it's the guy right there who did it. We weren't going to start anything. He just wanted to know what he looked like.
Yeah.
He proceeded to blow kisses at me. And the poor bartender should have wailed on me at this time. But I grabbed the bartender by the face like this, like a child. You better look at me. You listen to me when I'm talking to you. I grabbed his face and I turned his head around and I said, you see that dude right there? He blows another kiss at me. I promise you I ain't got nothing to lose. I will jump over top of this bar and beep, 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 beep. He goes, chill out, dude. And I was like, I'm as chill as you're going to see me. I said, he blows another kiss. I said, I promise you. Well, as soon as I said, I promise you, dude looks at me and he goes, and I was like, that's it. That's it. I promise you, I jumped over top of that bar.
First date.
Superman punches cat. Just, what up? and then proceed to do what I had to do. This dude was like a real tall, lanky guy, like that DZ dude you're talking about. He was like him, except about 3 or 4 inches taller. And wear this dude out. Anyways, this dude's girlfriend and whoever else he was with, nobody jumped in for him. I guess they didn't like him. But they carry him out. And I'm sitting there beside Cammie. Once I get like I'm like, you know, she had no clue this was going on. And I'm sitting there beside Cammie in these fold-up chairs. That's what we're sitting in. And Mooncracker start playing again. And I'm trying to like hide my hands. Like my hands are all red and messed up. And I'm like, gosh dang it, man. Well, on the first date. Like I've never gotten in a fight like that. Like that moment right there. I've like been in them where I had to break them up, or you know somebody was trying to come after me because they were wasted or whatever. This back in the Tin Roof days, but I've never like snapped like that. And
Yeah.
so I'm sitting there beside Cammie, and this voice in the background goes, "There he is. There's that guy named Paul. That one that whooped your son's ass." And I turn around and look, and Cammie, still oblivious, has no clue. I'm looking, and there stands dude's dad. Like, he's a man. Like, he is a man.
Please tell me you hit him too.
Okay, so I was like, dude. He had a Bowie knife on the side of him, man. He had like one of them big old Crocodile Dundee Bowie knives, man. He undid that strap right there. And went to pull. I know, weak sauce, dude. What a punk. And he's a biker, dude. He had this vest on. He had them boots. Like, he was straight up like Hell's Angel or something. Probably Barbarossa. And I stood up and I said, Cammie, look, I'm so sorry. I said, I'm sorry. Because as soon as I stood up, I kicked my chair out of the way like an idiot. And so the only other chair that I had was the one she was sitting in. I said, Cammie, you got to get up. And she goes, huh? I said, you got to get up. And she goes, what's going on? I said, get up. And so I grabbed her chair, folded it, and I said, let's go. I was going to beat the dude down with the chair. So owner of the hill, he's like 4'2". He comes in there, he goes, all right, that's enough. Break it up. You've been nothing but trouble since you've been in here. I said, trouble? Trouble? I'm about to get stabbed by this dude's dad who pushed a pregnant girl down. Trouble? And so that's when Bub and them from the stage, they said, well, if you're kicking him out because of that, we're not going to stay here and play. We're done. And I was like, yeah. You lose me, you lose them. So show gets shut down. Done and done. We're walking outside. I'm scared to death, dude, waiting for Dad to come
Bowie
around the
knife
corner.
to show up.
Yeah, man. I'm thinking, okay, he's coming around the front. I'm like, I keep looking like, is he walking behind the building? You know, whatever. And dude never showed up. But yeah, she
Wow, bud.
she stuck with me, man,
And
through
she
that.
stayed how many years?
So we have been married since 2007. So we dated a year and a half before. I proposed to her at 6
So
months.
8.5 years ago. Or
Come on now.
I can't math right now. 15 and a half
Well,
years
we're in
ago.
2021.
Yeah.
So 15 and a half years ago. Yeah, that was
I
our...
heard 7. I just heard 7. I just thought 7 years.
But dude, yeah, it's been... when I say she met me at my worst, she did. Like, she really did. And it took me a long time to... I don't want to say grow up, because I don't feel like I'll ever be a grown-up, in a sense. But maturity-wise, my goodness. Yeah, she married me at my worst, and she is my ride or die. First
That's
5
how-
years, it's wild.
That's pretty cool. I've never.
What was your first date?
I've never heard
First
that.
date. Let's hear your first date.
Well, it's nothing compared to that.
I know it ain't.
Uh,
Not many are.
Before I say this, so we're gonna have to have like a woman takeover
Yeah.
and have our wives come in here
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like give their side of the story.
I'd like to hear Cammie's side of that story, too. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that'd be fun. But anyways, I say that because I might get this wrong, but I want to say our first date was at a restaurant called Mazzotti's, and I say this because every anniversary we would go to Mazzotti's.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say that was our first official date where we were like a couple, you know. And it's like an Italian restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And this big biker dude came in with a Bowie knife.
I bet he did.
No, I'm kidding. We got breadsticks.
And he cut my steak up
They
for
were
me.
amazing.
He
He had
sliced
two
my
Bowie
noodles.
knives.
We
He
had
had one
2
on each
Bowie
side.
knives.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee walked in, right? And no, but they had good breadsticks.
Holding Jet Li's hand.
And I mean, it was nice. So what I remember is because it goes from that casino when I first heard her sing to her driving me home. She
Yeah.
didn't drive me home actually. So we were driving, and I said, "Well, where do you live?" Because I lived in this town called Eureka, which was like 15 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Where do you live?" And she's like, "I live in Arcata, which is in between McKinleyville and Eureka." I'm giving you a visual. So I was like, "Well, let's go by your place, right?" And so she did. So we went to her place, and I was a gentleman. I didn't try anything. I remember going to her house, and she made me some drunk pizzas, some Tostitos pizzas. And I remember we were playing Keith Urban, and we danced, and sitting on the couch, and she put on Love and Basketball, and I was just going to sleep on the couch, and she said, "Well, you can come upstairs." And I was like, "All right." Nope. I was like, "I'm going to be a gentleman." So we went upstairs. She laid in bed. I took other covers, and I covered up with other covers. So we never,
No skin on skin.
no skin on skin.
Gotcha.
Woke up. So the next morning, I was going to Washington for Nashville Star. And so I was going so I had to meet my buddy that was going with me. So I had to meet him early, so I left. And I remember walking out of the house, and I leaned in for a kiss, and she put her whole hand on my face and pushed me away and said, "You're going to ruin it." And I remember getting in the car, like I just said, I'm like, "I'm never calling her again. I'm never talking to her, nothing."
Yeah.
And and I remember we were driving up to Washington, and all I could think about was her.
Yeah.
So I did that. I didn't make Nashville Star. Came back, and that ain't funny, Travis. I tried, but driving back, and I called her, and she does
Just the way you said it.
I know she does my accent really well.
Yeah.
But I left a voicemail on her voicemail, and I said, "Hey, this is Brian from Kentucky." You know, I guess I was really country, and so anyway, she called me back, and I went over to her house, and we have literally been together ever since. So our first date, it doesn't match up to yours. So I would say that first night was probably.
That's a good one though. I like the hand to the face, and you're gonna ruin it.
Yeah, I did not. But now it's like it's part of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the watermelon
Yeah.
thing. But she didn't say that. She just put her hand in my face and pushed me away. Thank you.
Hey.
All right,
First
let's hear
date's
yours, man.
So first date, I don't have a story really.
Well, nothing's gonna compare to Paul.
You know, I remember after football games at UK, it takes a while for the stadium to clear out, and we all go, shower and all that. And when you walk out this gate in the stadium there, and I remember she would be there, and I remember a lot. We would just hang out, man, and go like to my dorm room. No extracurricular stuff, just hang out, listen to music, talk. I remember doing that a lot. That's the kind of the earliest memories. We went to a place called Tally Ho.
Tally ho.
Anybody ever eaten at Tally Ho in
No, I
Lexington?
just like
It's
the
one of
name,
these
though.
places where they're rude to you on purpose.
Like dicks.
It's part of the gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we weren't there alone together. We were with other friends, but I kept wanting to go over to her table and talk to just her. And these people were just being rude, and you know how they are at those kind of places. And I was like, "Man, come on! I'm trying to talk to this girl here." And I don't want to play that game right
they
now.
fit into it,
Like
probably.
I get it, but right now I just want to talk. I'm trying to talk to her, and they kept, doing all their stuff at Tally Ho. I remember that, and I want to say our first date was at Cheddar's.
Okay.
I don't know. There was a Cheddar's on Tates Creek Road there, and that's kind of been our place ever since. But yeah, I don't really remember the first date, but I remember spending a lot of time with her, and just most of the time in my relationships in the past, I was super like possessive and jealous. I had a lot, especially when I was drinking. A lot of testosterone. Somebody looked at me the wrong way when I was around a girl. With her,
What do you?
no, he was. That was a good move. Huh?
No, it was a good movie. Yeah.
But
Which part? Like the one where I took the
Took
chair?
the
Oh, you
Pregnant
took care.
girl.
You took
Oh,
care.
heck
of the
yeah,
pregnant.
well,
standing up for something. No, with her though, I never had that, man. I never had that same feeling I had with every other girl I'd ever been with. That possessive, like jealousy. Whenever, like totally trusted her to go do something with her friends without me.
Yeah.
Like I didn't. It was just something different about that I had with her that I never had before, and it was totally.
That's great.
It was good, man. There was no jealousy, and because I just knew she was solid. Like her character was good, you know. And I trusted
awesome.
it, you know. But yeah, so I don't, you know, she might be watching this thinking, you don't remember our first date? But
I'm telling you, we
You've
need
had
to
too
have
many good moments since then. I mean,
yeah,
so-
I don't.
we have to have a takeover. Like that way we can get their side.
Yeah.
no kidding.
So do you remember the first time you told her that I love you?
I do remember that.
Yeah, I can't talk about it.
I do remember that. It wasn't, you know, we went to Chicago
I'll just make it. I mean, ain't no
My
kid's gonna
teammates.
watch this, right? We gotta be real.
Yeah.
and
Go ahead. Sorry.
so I went to Chicago with my best friend and teammate. He lived up in Joliet, just outside Chicago, and snowed all the way up there. It took us like 8 hours to get to Chicago. We go up there and hang out, a group of us, get to meet some of his friends. We party, do the college thing, what you do at that age. And then we're coming home, and that's the time the ice storm hit. You remember the ice storm about
Mhm.
Oh,
2004, maybe?
Mhm.
Not the one in
I remember hearing
09,
about it.
But yeah, so it was a whole nother adventure getting home. But it was on that trip, we had to get a hotel room because the weather was so bad, and it was in that hotel room where when we first told each other we loved each other.
So mine was New Year's Eve. I don't know what year it was, but it was in California. We had it rains a lot, but it rained a lot and it was flooded. So because I lived right by the ocean, we lived right by the ocean. The water went over the highway, so I couldn't go to work. The power was out, like the power went out and everything. So it was off for like 2 or 3 days. The power was. So we had a New Year's Eve party with a bunch of friends, and we had generators plugged up to the house,
Get out of here.
and that's how we had lights. So everybody came
Nice.
over. It was a bit.
That
it
was
was
the spot.
that was the spot. We had power.
TV.
So I remember, there was some drinks. We were having fun, and I mean, how detailed should I get with this story?
It's up to you, man. It's up to you.
So anyway, some things. So I've been drinking a lot, and
Went from we had some drinks. I've been drinking a lot.
now it's to the point of the night where I had a lot.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a lot of people in this house. And I remember Sarah says, "Hey, let's go to the bathroom." So we did. Nothing could happen. Nothing, I'm trying to talk in code. Hopefully y'all get
Okay.
this.
Yeah, we got it.
So anyways,
Understand.
yeah, I don't know. Anyways, it was at that house. that it was on bunk
In the
beds.
bathroom?
No, it was on bunk beds.
I wanna
You
think-
said I love you.
I think Kristen. I think we were in the bathroom whenever we first said I love you.
Yeah,
Nothing, like I said, no extracurriculars. But
probably a little different than mine.
yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
I love you.
Wait, past that? No, it was good though. Like, I don't know, because it was later in the night where I was I was sobering up, so it was just, I don't know, a feeling, and I said it, and once I said it, you always get nervous,
Mm-hmm.
and I was super nervous to saying it, and I said
like
it,
they're gonna say.
and then she
"What?"
looked at me and she said it too, and I was like, oh, thank you.
Mm.
Like, hopefully I didn't read this moment wrong, and
Yeah. The
and-
fear is that they'll say, "How could you say that to me? We've only known
Yeah.
each other."
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the
or
fear,
you
but-
say I love you, and she's like, oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Mhm.
How about you, buddy?
I actually didn't say it. I signed it. So I was too scared to say it. Because I was like, there's no way that I love this girl this early. Like, there's
Yeah.
no way. Because I've past relationships and stuff. Like,
Yeah, I would say ours
thing
was
that,
quick too.
that Travis was saying about with Chris and, like, not having that feeling of jealousy and like that contentment knowing that I'm cool either way, and it's because you're not. I think you're just in a different place, and I think when you meet the right person, that person,
Yeah.
I think it's something natural that comes along with it. To me, it's bigger than just circumstance, or by chance. So I knew that she was the one, and I was like, but how would I know this soon? And so whenever I
Will
was trying to, yeah, and so we're sitting at Oscars on 54 when Oscars was there, and it was her and I think one of her friends, and I just felt like, I don't know, like they would be chattering back and forth, and I just remember kind of getting annoyed. I'm like, man, I need some dudes here, like, so I can talk like dude stuff, because
Yeah.
they're talking girl stuff and whatever. But I just remember signing it to her, and she goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "Just nothing, whatever." And I was like, "Okay, I got this." And then, finally, I slowed it down a little bit for her. She goes, "Are you signing something to me?"
Signing.
Signing.
I thought you meant signed.
No, sign.
That's awesome.
Sign language.
Signed
Yeah.
language.
Oh. And yeah, I signed it to her. That's what I did.
Yeah.
So I don't know when it verbally came out of my mouth. It was not in the bathroom.
Probably after she
Um,
signed it back.
I don't even know if I think I told her, like, okay, so I think whenever I first told her that I loved her, like, verbally, is when I did tell her that that's what I was signing. Like, that's what I was doing with my hands. It
Oh, she
wasn't-
had no clue what you were doing.
No clue, man.
That's awesome.
No
That's
clue.
even better.
No, it's not.
It is. I tell you what. So there's a movie. There's a movie with Ashton Kutcher and somebody else. I can't think. A lot like love. A lot like love.
Mm-hmm.
And you ever seen it?
Mm-mm.
You ever seen it? No.
No.
So, anyways, this I'm a spoiler. So this movie is like they meet at an airport or airplane or whatever, and then they're hanging out or whatever, and it's like different stages in their life, and they always connect and they always come back. So anyway, she would never commit to
Mhm.
him, and he was like in love with her, all this stuff. Anyways, fast forward to the end. So she was saying that she kind of pursued him first or whatever, or something of that nature.
Mhm.
But she starts going through old pictures, and he had a camera, and at the airport before they even met, he was taking pictures of her because he
Yeah.
basically loved her at first sight, kind of thing. Great
Well.
movie. You should watch it.
I'll have to go back. Watch me some.
It's
Kucha.
me and Sarah's favorite.
So I was
movies.
looking, reading some stuff because I knew what the topic was going to be for the show. And
Cheater.
4 out of 10 marriages end in divorce
I know.
in America. That was as of 2020. 4 out of 10, and man, divorce is no big thing anymore.
Oh,
Like a lot of people, it happens to a lot of people, which is, I think when young people, I remember how it is, relationships I was in early on and early in life, it's more attachment than anything.
Mm-hmm.
You get attached to this person and you build up this image of who they are in your head. They're perfect, and then once you spend enough time with somebody, reality starts to come out. Like,
Mhm.
nobody's perfect. We all have our flaws, and they're going to come to the surface. And but when you fall in love, we call it falling in love when you're young.
In the bathroom.
A lot of it is attachment, man, and it's
Or Bowie knife.
it's like I'm attached to you, you're attached to me. Let's build these expectations of each other up so high because we love each other. We're attached to each other that I think after a certain period of time, we've all been married long enough to know, like, that's not.
It does, yeah.
That is attachment more than true love, and a lot of times it was with me in my early relationships. So I think that's what's happening to a lot of people is they're having that feeling of love, whatever you want to call it. They're getting attached young, and then when reality sets in, a lot of divorces are happening.
But it's they get out of the infatuation stage.
Yeah.
Like when
The
all
honeymoon
that
stage, yeah.
Yeah, the honeymoon stage. So it's like, Chris Lee he had a shirt on, and it's actually a dude that does a podcast. It's one of his favorite podcasts. But anyway, apparently this dude's comical. It's hilarious. And I need to go listen to him. But on this guy's shirt, it says "New Friend Energy." That's what it is. So it's
Yeah.
like relationships,
Nice.
So when we have relationships with, girlfriends or whatever, back in the day, it was like that. And I remember the new energy,
Yep.
of Kimmy and I when we started dating, and then, all the way up until, Geez, I think when like it was I do, okay, I do too, and then we signed the certificate, and we, go about the rest of the night, and the next day it was like, this is real.
Yeah.
Like, this is
Set
real.
in.
Now the new friend energy was still there. Don't get me wrong, but like it was a reality at that point.
Yeah, it's starting to set in a little bit more. Like,
Yeah,
ooh.
so I
Yeah.
can't just go make a choice or a decision without including her input on it, and even more so, like her input really matters. And so now to this day, even to this day, it's like I feel so. It's hard for me to buy anything, like really hard for me to buy stuff, especially if it's just like for myself. But if it's going to be a purchase of any kind, like I always talk to her about it. Minus I did actually get her a car this
I know.
time around.
I know.
It wasn't a joke,
Congratulations.
Yeah.
New friend energy. I like that. That explains it.
Yeah.
Because really, as a society, what do we do now when something breaks or when something
You replace
doesn't
it.
work? You throw it away.
Yeah.
You get a new one. You know.
And that's the
Instead
thing,
of,
man. Like, go ahead.
No, it's just that it's the same concept of once that newness wears off. I think that's natural. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people will say, "Oh, it wasn't real," or "It wasn't this."
But that's the
and
point
throw it
love
away.
begins, man.
But when you're in that stage of that attachment, that infatuation, you build up these expectations. Like, I expect you to be this person, and in my mind, you're perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So when they're not, you find out they're not perfect. It's like, it's a weird thing.
Yeah. Man, I had a good thought.
Yeah.
I really did. And then
No, but it's true. Like, so I think that after that infatuation stage, I think it truly is when love begins, because you have to find that point of compromise, the point of just becoming selfless in a sense, because when you become selfish, the relationship gets really rocky.
Yeah.
But the point you become selfless and their needs, their wants, their feelings and emotions are really more important than yours. To me, that's when it really goes good.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that I'm sacrificing my happiness, because it literally, it does make me happy, but I don't get it right all the time. There's times that I do
Yeah.
get selfish. Like, I want to go play golf. I want to go fish.
Yeah.
And thank goodness that's when she kicks in the selflessness, and I get to go golfing, I get to go fishing, and
I want to be clear. I'm not knocking divorce by any
Oh, I
means.
understand. No, we all
I
know
respect people who are willing to make a change. I can remember people in my childhood, older people in my life that I know they weren't happy,
Mhm.
but they would stay in those relationships.
Mhm.
And,
Well, I grew up.
So
I mean,
divorce can be good or bad, but it seems like that rate is getting awful high.
I grew up. My dad being married 3 times, my mom being married twice. Like, I was a broken family.
Mhm.
So, growing up and getting older, I was like, that's the main thing is I don't want to follow in that footsteps, And I've had some mistakes, before I met Sarah, but luckily I met her. Not saying I was an adult or mature like you're saying, because I don't think I'll ever grow up, But I was older and I knew what I wanted, so I met her when I was younger. Or a little bit older. I was 24, and then I was intentional about that. I'm like, okay, we're gonna wait a little bit before we're not gonna jump into it. So, not saying it was better than somebody who's jumping in, but it gave us time to say, yeah, this is gonna go the distance, or you hope. But that's a scary stat, man, because you said what, 3 out of 4?
No, 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10.
But almost, it's like 39 point something percent.
Yeah,
it's
it's
almost
yeah.
4 out of 10.
So you look at, it's kind of like a go-to thing at round table discussions, when we're talking. It's like, okay, yeah, 50% of marriages fail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A realistic number. It's still a scary number, the 4 out of 10 at 39 point whatever percent. But, you look at, I'd say the bulk majority of them are for selfish reasons.
Yeah.
Not all of them are I think are selfish reasons. Some of those would be, that person was left. There's always the other side of it, the
Yeah.
one that's
Yeah.
heartbroken because of the separation or the divorce. It could be, everything from, so my mom and my biological dad, what broke that marriage up was he was completely selfish. He chose drugs and alcohol and other women pretty much over my mom. And then he come crawling back, begging and pleading. And then she took him back. Mom's going to hate me for saying this. But I literally had forgotten that she actually married him again. She really wanted that marriage to work.
My mom
Yeah.
remarried my stepdad after she divorced him.
Yeah. And they want it to work.
Yeah.
But
And that's the thing right there, man, because like when people they're in a marriage and it's one person feels like it ain't enough or whatever, the first thought is I need to get a divorce, because I'm not happy, right? Yeah. And I went through it. Me and Sarah went through it. I mean, recently, and I said it. I was like, hey, I want to leave, right? And then she did me dirty and had my best friend call me and talk to me, and it's kind of a voice of reasoning.
She should have just sang you a song.
Should have
for real.
But you know what I'm saying? Like you get like that, like that's my only option.
Yeah.
Right. And then I had to come back down and we both talk it out, and then that's when we started doing devotionals and we started learning about each other again, right? Like this version of ourselves. So, and I think it was good. We did a devotional right after, and it was just about that's where all the podcast kind of came from. It's like you got to be open, you got to be willing to talk about it. But marriage is not perfect. You got to be, and I'm gonna keep on saying, you got to be intentional about loving your wife, and focusing on what she needs and what you need. It's a two-way street kind of thing. So
I've made some really bad mistakes in my marriage, really bad, and I'm not going to blame it on addiction, but it was while I was caught up in addiction. And you hear people say once that trust is broken, you can never get it back. I'm here to say I don't think that's true, man, because the resolve, the fortitude, whatever you want to call it, that my wife has shown to me through all that has changed my life.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
The fact that she stood up and just stayed solid through all that, and was a voice of reason and an angel of mercy, whatever you want to call it, while I was going through that, to stick to what she believed in and to stay with me through all that, that is, it changed my life. Without that and her character, I don't think I ever would have made it out of addiction. And we've kind of come to this understanding now where we both know it's not my job to make her happy, and it's not her job to make me happy.
Say it again.
Because we get caught up in that early on. That's how I felt. Like, I'm not happy. It's because of you.
Yeah.
And
so
I'm just gonna eat a bunch of Lord tabs, and I'll feel good either way. But the stories that my mind came up with were crazy. And I had to learn and try to grow spiritually in recovery and figure out some things for myself. Like, that sounds a little bit selfish. Like, it's not my job to make her happy.
But it's a good selfish.
But it's a good selfish, because if I can generate happiness within myself, then I'm going to be happy, and we can share that happiness. It's a quote, actually. Let me read this to you.
But he makes a good way. Will Smith?
Will Smith said this: her happiness is not my responsibility. She should be happy, and I should be happy individually. Then we come together and share our happiness. Giving someone a responsibility to make you happy when you can't do it for yourself is selfish.
That is. That's a good, and we talked about it a little bit last week about it. You got to make sure you're right before you can make other people right. You know what I mean? Or try to.
And that's not an easy thing. We talk about these statistics. 4 out of 10 divorces. Well, 6 out of 10 Americans are anxious or depressed.
Yeah.
So we're not doing, as people, making ourselves happy is not coming easy to a lot of people. So of course marriages are going to fail.
Yeah. And it's not saying you got to walk around with a smile on your face all the time, because there's points in life that you get down. I was down today.
Yeah.
But I talked to Sarah about it and said, this is how I'm feeling today, and this is why I'm feeling like this. And she's like, you need to pray, while you're driving. You need to pray and try to go at it a different way, kind of thing. So, but when I came home, I was in a different state of mind. So that wasn't her like trying to please me. It was her trying to help me help myself, because she could tell like something ain't right within the day.
Yeah.
You know,
They're good at that too, man.
Yeah.
They're really good at
My
that.
wife really.
as men, we got to be that for them.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it's a struggle sometimes. And this is just coming my personal perspective of it, being a man. It's hard to realize, she stays home all day with the kids and all this
Yeah.
stuff and blah. And I come home and I need 30 minutes to relax. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's being selfish. So I have to get better at saying, hey, I'm here. Take you a break. You take 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's self
what I'm saying?
care, and
Yeah.
we're getting to a point in society where self care is not seen as being so selfish. Like self care is important.
It's very important. When we depend upon circumstance, situation to be our level of happiness. So if it's a bad day, if something bad happens, our moods are dictated by all that. And, I think when we pursue happiness in areas that you're only going to find that true joy and that true happiness rather than in material things or status. There's been several people that I've talked to, man, with relationship issues or troubles, and there's been separation or there's been splits, man, and it always seems to come down to that unhappiness because of one person's failures or flaws or mistakes. And I always, try to approach it with the cup half full thing here. I'm like, okay, you got to stop, like, trying to fix what's already happened. You're never, ever, ever, ever going to be able to go back and undo that. I said, but what you have an opportunity to do now is literally become the best version of you possibly can be.
Yeah.
I said, because she deserves that or he deserves that. I said, but you can't go into it the same train wreck you went out of it. And I said, so literally, self-care to me is probably the number one thing that we can do to be able to have a good, content marriage. Like, and content, I think, is a word that's really overlooked when it comes to relationships and marriages, because you're going to have your horrible days, man.
Yes.
But there's got to be that contentment that you have. Like, I'm willing to go through all the horrible days in the world with her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
There's a thing I heard is in a relationship is 100%, right? So it could be 50-50. It could be one day I have to be 80 and you can be 20.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's 100%.
Yeah.
And you got to share the load. And again, I struggle because I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. And there's things that I'm not intentional about it, and I need to be better about it. And I'm trying. I truly am trying, and I think Sarah would say she just told me yesterday I was trying. So, but it's an everyday thing. I mean, you got to talk about it. You got to get in the forefront, and it's just marriage is tough. Marriage is tough, and that's why that 39 or 38% or whatever it is, because it's. For some people, it's an easy way out.
Yeah.
Some people might need it. They might be in a toxic. They might not be compatible. They'll never be compatible. But I believe you truly have to work at it every single day.
Oh, you have to, man. You're going to have those divorces that happen because you got a tool bag husband that wants to be abusive.
Yeah.
And there's issues with that person.
There's a special place for people.
Yeah, there's some type of trauma there, probably. And I think a lot of people get addicted to drama almost.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
When you see couples that fight a lot and I see it at the ball field night before last. I'm there and I'm sitting with my wife and this couple walks by and they're going at each other. And I just looked over at her.
They don't care. They don't care. Like,
And that's how
watch it.
It's almost like people who are in that cycle of drama, they need that. It makes them feel alive. They'd rather have drama with their partner than be bored.
Yeah.
Is the way I think what's happening, because at least it's sad, really, because it's a thrill instead of being bored day to day life.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna start. I'm in a bad mood, so I'm gonna bark at her, and she'll bark back, and at least I'll feel alive. And then people stay in that dang cycle, man, and it happens over and over again. But
So who has the filter between you and
Kristen and I, we, I'm not. We don't fight very much at all.
yeah?
I'm so grateful for that because
Must
we
be
don't
in- must be
argue.
in the bloodline,
We don't
'cause-
fight. She is just super kind-hearted, and I'm quiet. I'm an introvert, so I mean we don't.
So y'all
Neither-
walk through the house, both of y'all mad at each other, and nobody knows.
No, I mean we'll
So-
get
Head
honest
nod.
with each other. We'll have our times, but you know, like everybody
Grunting.
does. I'm not acting like we have a perfect marriage because we obviously don't. But I'm grateful for the fact that we don't bicker and fight a whole lot because growing up, I can remember going to certain places and friends' houses and stuff where it was war going on.
Well,
man.
you've been over to my house.
It was serious. My parents got into some good ones, you know, growing
Yeah.
up, and thankfully, so far, you know, that could change in a day. Everything changes, but
You gotta go
we
home
don't
tonight.
have a whole lot of that fighting and bickering and arguing.
Yeah.
We don't. So
And we-
and it's to the point to where even if we do have a little tiny a bit of an argument, my kids get all freaked out.
Yes.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like, why are
Yeah.
you fighting?
Mine too.
Oh yeah.
Let me tell you a story when I was a kid. Let me tell you what parents fighting is like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I went to this place and this is what they were doing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It.
And I shouldn't do that. Compare, but
I mean, I mean, we don't we fight. We are, you know, we bicker, we argue, but it's very, it's not as much as it was, right?
Mhm.
Once we learned how to talk it out and everything, and that, I mean, I get mad, she gets mad, she lets me know she's mad, and I let her know I'm mad, and usually I'll walk away or she'll walk away a little bit, and then we'll come back, we'll hug, we'll kiss, and then we'll talk about what happened. But the kids will see it, you know,
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you're all leaving each other. Y'all getting a divorce." Like, calm down. Calm
Yeah.
down. It's never.
and a lot of that
Yeah.
fighting and arguing in marriages, it comes just down to personalities.
That's
Yeah.
it.
You know, personalities, and I think that's what it is with me and Kristen. Is just our personalities match well when it comes to arguing. But
What about you?
No, I mean that's what whenever Travis was talking earlier, I said it must be in the blood, you know, because Cammy's like that too. It's like we don't ever, like there may be some discussions that get like I can feel my blood pressure rising a little bit, like, but no, I mean
Yeah.
I can only think of maybe one time that I was literally like that's it, don't say another word to me, but you know. But I was stupid.
Yeah.
You know, I was stupid. If, like, me in that position now, I would have said, you know, things differently,
Yeah.
done things differently. But the kids do the same thing. Like, I try to always keep a good, even tone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't elevate my voice any. I hope I don't. And I try to use the right words. So there's times that
Yeah.
when I am fuming internally, I've got to decipher what I'm going to say, because if I just
Oh, it'll come back
spit
and
it
bite
out,
you.
Yeah, if I
It'll
go
come
spit it
back,
out,
yeah.
then it is what it is. But so in our relationship, I am the filter. Cammie, she can't help it. Like, she really, really can't. She's just going to say what she thinks.
Yeah.
And I'll have to sit there and I'll be like, can you reword that, rephrase that? Like, just go back and say that over in your head and how that went, and think how I took that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then she'll be like, "Well, I don't think anything wrong," you know. And I'll be like, "You got to remember who you're talking to," you know. And she's like, "I am. I mean, I know who I'm talking to." And so it's like to her, it's like, and I'm sitting there like,
Please.
"That comes from your husband."
Please understand what I'm saying to you.
But
That's fine.
she does, you know, one of her strengths, and like with me, it's something that I have to work at is, yes, we talk, man. I mean, like I was joking earlier about, I wish that, you know, she probably wishes that I would talk just as much as I did, you know, those nights on the phone, you know. But we do talk about things. And I need to get better at that. I need to get better at being an intentional listener.
Yeah.
Probably more than anything else. Because, okay, here's an example. So last night, Cammie's birthday is July 19th. Her dad's is July 19th. Her dad lives in California. Foothills, man, outside of Clovis. That's where he lives. And we went to Shaver Lake.
I've been there.
I got to go to Shaver Lake. That was pretty cool. Beautiful, man. Just absolutely beautiful up there. So I was like, I'm doing it, man. I'm doing it. I bought her a plane ticket to fly out there to spend her birthday with her dad. And I sent her and her dad a text message, happy early birthday. And it was the flight itinerary for her to go out there.
Sucks so bad, man. Because
Okay.
I know Sarah's going to hear this, and you're like, why didn't you ever do this for me?
Well, okay, look.
Because I'm not Paul.
And Cammy told me before I walked out, don't be telling them about last night. And I'll be like, and then she said, well, I really don't care. We're an open book anyway.
We are an open book.
That's the point.
So
Yeah.
I said, okay. Well,
Heck, me and Sarah got in a fight today.
Well, I ended up.
We really did.
The response that I was expecting was not the response that I got, because I was thinking that it was going to be like, oh my God, baby, thank you. You know, just like completely overjoyed. Well, I got the tears and I got the emotion, but not the emotion that I was expecting. She goes, oh my gosh, Paul, why did you do that? It was, I wanted to surprise my dad. I was like, huh? Like, what? And she goes, yes. So Cammy's stepmom and her apparently had been talking back and forth.
Oh.
I did not know. She said she had told me, and I remember that, but I didn't think it was like solid. Like, solid. Like, it's really going to happen.
So
Because
you
Cammy is
ruined her
afraid to
plan.
fly, and she has severe separation anxiety from her kids. Believe it or not. She cannot, like, be away from her kids for too long
Oh,
at all.
Sarah can't either.
Well, I guess it's a mom thing.
But she talks about it. We need to get away and all
Yes.
that stuff. I'm like, there's no way.
There's no way you're going to do it. So, it wasn't the response that I expected to get. But if I had been a better listener, I think I would have picked up on the fact that they were serious in this conversation.
Yeah.
I just didn't want her punking out, man.
Yeah.
I didn't want her punking out and not going. I think, you
Well,
know,
she may have.
Yeah, and she
You
needs
know.
it, man. She needs to spend time with her dad, and she's gonna hate hearing this, but she needs time away from the kids,
Yeah.
man. I mean, it's more
a real
time
thing.
than nails. Going to get your nails done or your hair
Yeah.
done. You
Yeah.
know, like
Chris and I are going to the beach next week. It's our 15th anniversary, so we're going down there for like
Wait,
three,
today,
three
isn't
nights.
today her birthday?
Yeah.
You want to give her a little shout out or
Yeah,
something?
happy birthday.
I can't believe you're even
Hey,
here,
happy
bud.
birthday, Miss
Hey.
Atwell.
We're
Happy
trying to reach out to
birthday.
people.
Happy birthday. Happy
Yeah, she's 38 today.
Stevie Wonder.
But
38, feeling great.
we're going to the beach next week, and she's that way about being away from the kids, and they're not.
You
going.
would think she wouldn't be because she's around kids all the time. You
Yeah.
think she'd want to get away and
No, she does want to,
yeah.
but her own kids, leaving them for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, she's used to having them right there under her wing at all times, and other than school and ball games
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So we're looking forward to that, and she is too. But I'm hoping that we're going to be able to enjoy that.
Yeah, relax.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Well, this is this is a good topic, and we have a lot of years. I know my wife is blowing me up right now. she's-
TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok. She got a show, but anyways, and we'll continue it. I mean, we'll have a part 2.
Yeah,
Right,
we
we'll
could
get
talk about
into
this
it.
one for a while.
I mean, I have tons of stories about me and Sarah, and I know y'all do too. So, appreciate everybody jumping on, watching it. Hopefully, everything worked out this time. We're always trying to get better, so this is what it is. Yeah. Any last
All right.
thoughts?
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening. I appreciate it. And Kimmy, I love you. You're my baby boo, smoking hot wife. Yeah.
Intentionally. You intentionally.
Spit it out.
Intentionally.
Spit it
How
out.
do you say it?
Intentionally.
Yeah,
There's an
you
L
have
in
to
there.
be intentional
Yeah.
every day about your marriage and your.
That is exactly why I credit card my wife, or I give her a whisker biscuit every day. I flirt with her all the
A
time.
whisker
Yeah.
biscuit.
Yeah, whisker biggie. You get up there
Yeah,
and you just pinch the butt cheek just a little bit, like a
good
dingleberry. Like
game.
you're pulling a dingleberry.
I
a
good
whisker
game any
biscuit, huh?
chance I get.
Huh?
I good game every chance I get. Walking by.
How
I
do you
think
flirt? How
need
do you
that.
flirt with your wife? Do you smack her on the butt?
Yeah. Yeah.
You just
Are you
saying
the
that 'cause
are
we
you
do.
the like the I just go by and smack her, or do you like the drum roll?
No, not a drum roll. Just a smack. Just the old ball coach smack.
Yeah.
Do y'all dance with your wife, like in the
Yes.
kitchen or
Yeah.
anything like that?
Our family's dancing.
Yeah,
we dance. a
we're
lot,
big
I think.
dance.
We
We got
be-
a sign in the kitchen that says kitchens are for dancing.
we act silly, you know,
Yeah.
and wrestle around and stuff, but not
Yeah.
not so much dancing, but
You should, man. Play some music.
Yeah.
Dance with your wife in the kitchen.
yeah,
It's
Be
amazing.
careful. You have
kind of
another
like
kid.
Catch Me If You Can, the scene on Catch Me If
Yeah,
You Can. with
yeah.
Mhm. What, 4
Good
girls?
reference. You gonna have another kid?
Yeah.
You gonna have more
No,
kids?
that's not in the cards.
No. You? More kids?
Depends how slow we dance tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Hey.
All right. We're never too old to have more kids. You hear my sir?
Yes, I am.
More kids. All right. Thank y'all for joining.
It's been real. Deuces. My mind's telling me no. But my body telling me yeah.
Forgive me so